so absolute all clear. Once again, it's poor pensioners who are being completely harassed by this state, this time in the so-called Pinocchio affair. And now I'm going to quote exactly what Beatrix von Storch wrote this morning. Why? Just listen to this. Dear Public Prosecutor's Office, I'm explicitly making this my own now and calling the Chancellor Pinocchio. And now I want to see whether the Public Prosecutor's Office will once again only investigate pensioners who do things like this, or also members of Parliament who can defend themselves. Quote Beatrix von Storch. Let's be honest, don't all people here in Germany think that, well, Friedrich Merz is a Pinocchio? I'd be interested to know what you think about it. It's best if you just write, yes, I think so too, because thoughts are free.
So that's the social media team of the Heilbronn police. Now they're the saviors of democracy, or how should we understand that?
Yes, of course they are. You all know them. I hate this hate, and when I see this hate on German streets, then I have to. Oh no, those are the others. Wait a moment, we'll get to them in a second too. But let's be honest, is it really, or what I just heard on WELT, that absolutely turns my stomach again, that there are now individual investigative units, and on the other hand, we're being told we need more officers, especially in the Public Prosecutor's Office. Someone has to fight this here, instead of just letting people keep what they have. By the way, I'm going to show a few things in a moment. For example, things that are in Russia. And yes, wait, listen to me for a moment before you switch off now. In Russia, for example, we're also not allowed to say that we don't approve of the Ukraine conflict. By the way, that's actually forbidden there now.
So starting from the reporting offices to the commissariats at the criminal police, usually the commissariat for state security, who now also check what someone is posting.
Didn't the Ministry for State Security do that too? Oh no, they even paid attention to what you said on the phone, what you discussed with your friends. Hey, how far do we actually want to let this go here in Germany? And yes, I'm going to say it again. If you're interested in the topic of freedom of speech, feel free to leave me a like and a subscription. Feel free to share this video so that many more people here in Germany can be woken up. Because yes, exactly 41% of people in Germany are still sure that you can say whatever you want here. That's as much as if you take the entire left wing and, yeah, put it all in one pot. I really have to say it like that. Russia. However, they have, let's say, a bit more lead time. They did it a bit more cleverly because they simply forbid people from doing that. You're not allowed to say that it's a military operation. If not, then the Federal Security Service will come by and have a talk with you. So, what's the difference compared to Germany? Back there, people know they're not allowed to do it. Here in Germany, well, you just get reported for being a storyteller, for being Pinocchio. And yeah, let's be honest here, if you're from an older generation, who among you didn't love the story of Pinocchio? Yeah, you know, the one who was always telling lies at school.
Until in the end, these special public prosecutors, as they're called, against hate and incitement, yeah?
And before we get to the haters and agitators here in this country, 1 second just briefly, what about the people who commit the most serious crimes here? Among other things, they're being released. I'm not kidding you because the judge had been drinking. Believe me, that really happened. I could do that now, but I'd better not. Yeah, no, I don't want to have the state, the authorities showing up at my house again. We don't want that. But, and that's just how it is, you know that feeling when something is just absurd? So, people here are committing serious crimes. And I don't make a distinction whether they're Muslims, who are of course overrepresented, or native Germans who just prey on women here, or stab other people at subway stations. I don't make a distinction there, no, but we do have a problem. We could deport some of them, but the others, we can't. We can't get rid of them. Yeah, I think the public prosecutor, I don't know what your opinion is, should urgently take care of these crimes so that the streets become safe again and not just ban everything for us. Just imagine, yeah, if we didn't have any more problems, then the prosecutor's office would have nothing to do, right?
The famous lèse-majesté law, which was actually abolished for a while because people thought it didn't really fit the times anymore.
It was brought back for Corinna, and a gigantic business was built around it. Yes, and mostly against people who can't defend themselves, retirees with disabled children who have since passed away. From all this stress and everything that happened, yes, or also to other people who simply can't defend themselves. Here in Germany, those who have some sort of fixed income, and where you know exactly that you can get to them, to then also make it public in the media. Exactly. So that people really get information about it again. If you say in the future, for example, that Friedrich Merz is a worn-out liar, or if you call him with really nasty swear words, which I wouldn't want to mention here, but the leftists do that right away, then you'll get into serious trouble here. And again, I'm referring to the right to quote. That's very, very important.
Extreme activists have blocked the A100 highway in Berlin. These are members of the so-called New Generation.
Did you see what was written on it? We're racing into fascism, Merz Mafia, New Generation. And I would strongly recommend to these people, as you just saw, to put their hands down as quickly as possible. Or are the leftists now allowed to do this without consequences? Because let me just quickly set this up. While a member of parliament is being convicted for publishing a poster with a hair salute on it, yes, no joke. The graphic designer who created it and used the stock photo isn't convicted because he supposedly didn't know about it? But that's exactly how it was under fascism. Yes. So that means that ruling organizations just went ahead and arbitrarily punished people. Just like that. Yes, they thought, I don't like his nose, right? Maybe he's an enemy of the state and now he's going to get big warnings. Yes, that's very important. And as for the leftists, well, they're really in the crosshairs now. After all, they've been accused of being worse than the mafia. And yes, please don't get me wrong, there's a lot of corruption in other countries too. I just think that there's no corruption in Germany because maybe the politicians just do it themselves and therefore don't declare it as corruption. That's my own personal opinion. I don't know what you think about it. Maybe you should just label the thing with opinion.
With their disruptive action, the left-wing extremists want to protest against fascism, what they call the Merz Mafia, billionaires, and the right. Police said 2 activists were arrested.
Here as well, it's highly illegal to go onto the highway, and it's even much more illegal to stand up there. We all know that because it's written in the law and you can be punished for it. But for a Pinocchio, we're not exactly sure about that. And that's exactly where these boundaries become blurred. And of course, I've set all of this up here in a very satirical way. You know, I laughed about it everywhere, even though the topic itself isn't really that serious. Why? Well, because that way I can also get out of this thing without any consequences. And yes, soon there will be state elections in Baden-Württemberg. Think about who you're going to vote for there. Because it's actually very sad that we have to present serious topics here in such a satirical way. Because otherwise people are afraid of being persecuted here in Germany, getting huge fines and even going to jail for it. I'll just give the example of, yes, I really have to say it like this. One of my viewers who got a €750 fine because of a post on Facebook, I think that's what it was. If we've come this far here, well, then we're back to the Stasi days. So, dear politicians, if you're listening to this, and I'm telling you honestly, trust the people for once, even with this social media ban. You don't need it, but maybe you should go out there and instruct the public broadcasters. Now listen to me carefully. Dear parents, this is a special broadcast for you, and it's not in simple language. If you allow your children to consume social media non-stop, they'll go crazy up there in their heads. And if you're not careful, then climate change definitely won't have as bad consequences as the children who are completely destroyed by all this framing. Oh, you don't want to do that because then you'd be dumping a huge pile on your own foundation. So, I would support the government instructing public broadcasters to actually air special programs about what really happens due to excessive social media use. And yes, I'll be completely honest, even though I do social media on all platforms, honestly, my kids don't.